about you is if you have ambition to be great, my job is to coach you to get all that greatness out of you.
What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for another one as day 2 of practice at Dolphins training camp completed earlier today, and we're going to get into it. We got a lot of notes, a lot of stuff to go over. Like last time and like I've done the last couple of years, I got together all the relevant clips for you guys. The only one I left out was the mic'd up because I don't add those stuff, but you can go check it out. Brandon Jones in the mic'd up. Brandon Jones, you're actually going to see the would-be pick that we'll be talking about in the report. Also, we're going to go over, as you can tell by the title of this show, we're going to go over Tyreek Hill and his media availability. On top of that, if you guys haven't seen it, there was a great 3-piece article out by Tyler Dunn right now regarding Chase Edmonds. Now, you might remember Tyler Dunn is the individual who did the article about Lynn Bowden last year, where Bowden revealed everything going on with the Raiders and how he came here and et cetera, et cetera. You know, one of 2 things that ended up putting Bowden in the doghouse because he got I told you guys right away as soon as I heard it that he got reamed out for opening up in that article. And then obviously he later got put further into the doghouse when he started working with Perform and he got that soft tissue injury. And they kind of blame Perform, et cetera, and end up putting Bowden in the doghouse. So, anyways, 3-part series. We're going to go over the 3rd part of it because it's the most Miami Dolphins relevant, and he says a lot about Tua in it. Y'all are going to want to stick around for that article, man. We're going to lay it out for you. All I'm going to say is, again, another player who came from another team who clearly veteran players and players who were here with the previous regime clearly got in the ear and told them what the actual inner workings and what was really going on behind the scenes. Even more of an indictment you're going to see from Chase Edmonds, what he says about Tua and the previous regime and how they helped me. See, everyone started labeling this as excuses. Okay, now what happens when professional football players who weren't on the team for the previous regime, who were clearly filled in by the players currently on the team who were there, what happens when they start using the same context we all use about all the deficiencies around Tua Tagovailoa? So what? Now NFL players are making excuses? Or would they not understand the importance of a situation and an environment more than you, more than he, she, they, them, and me? Right? I think they would understand it a little bit more. And once again, a new player on the Dolphins talks about Tua and doesn't have pleasant things to say about how Tua was set up by the previous regime. So we got a lot to go over today. Smash that like button. There is already 170 of you in the room. We're well past 8,500 now. We're at 8,530, so we're on our way to 9,000. Hopefully we can get there by the start of the season. The goal was originally 10, but it don't look like we're going to get there, but we will get to 10 throughout the season. I'm sure of it. I appreciate everyone continuing to support training camp, man. That's where all the good stuff comes on. But I do have a few things I just want to cover. Now, there's been a lot of animosity throughout the community lately and whatever. I'm not going to get into all that jazz. But what I'm going to say is, listen, a lot of us started our platforms because we wanted to be a voice or we wanted to give a voice, whatever the case may be. You know, I did the panel shows for a couple of years where I would open up after I'd get all my information out. I've done that. I've been down there. You know what I mean? TD started off with the Tuesday night panel. And then when we started this channel, you know, we would open it up more than TD would, but really TD started that. And me and EM continued the trend. And, you know, you got everything going on in this community right now. What I'm going to say is this. I've seen certain platforms, certain channels, you know, this whole paying to boot people off, all right, paying $10, $5, whatever the case may be, to take people and remove Dolph fans from a panel is flat out wrong. Okay, people who are doing this are showing me that they're putting a monetary value on you guys, on Dolphins. People are showing me that they're willing to choose 10, 20, 30, 40 bucks over Dolphins in this community who make this community what it is. And at the end of the day, they're the ones that subscribe and they're the ones we do it for. I don't agree with this method at all, whatever, in any case whatsoever. All right. I think that because, you know, even if it's in good fun or whatever, people are going to catch feelings over being removed, and putting a price tag on fellow Dolphins. That's not cool behavior, just to line pockets. I'm not vibing with that. Okay. It was brought to my attention. I've seen it happen. I don't vibe with that. When I open these panel shows, and it will happen during the season, especially when we do our post-game shows. No, I don't care what someone offers me. I'm not booting you guys off or putting you backstage or taking you off the show for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, even $100, even $1,000. There's just, I'm not doing that. All right. You know, we build this community together and we started this together. And honestly, I'm not vibing with that. So I just wanted to put that out there. A really weird thing I've been seeing a lot lately. So that kind of trend that needs to that needs to stop, man. Like, that really needs to stop. Sitting here seeing people put a monetary value and monetary tag on people is just it's weird behavior right now. Anyways, I've got that out of the way. I wanted to sort through that. Next thing I got to say, I see that there are conflicting reports going on, and everyone's getting all caught up in this and all these conflicting reports, and this is going on and that is going on and all this jazz. Listen, this is why I told all of you I can't wait for the training camps open to the public, so all of you guys can get out there and we can have hundreds upon hundreds of set of eyes. This is why I've been saying that. And this is also why I've been saying this is what you can't escape the joint practices. There ain't going to be no conflicting reports with the joint practices, because you know what we're also going to have? The opposite side reporting. So the Tampa Bay reporters will be reporting on how we do. The Eagles reporters will be reporting on how we do. Okay? So we're going to get some answers. We're not going to get every answer, but we're going to get a lot more answers than we're getting right now. Because I know the big deal was, and I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. The big deal was like Marcel Louis-Jacques and I believe it was either JoeyShotz or Adam Beasley. One of those two said, I think it was Adam Beasley. Adam Beasley said that Tua had a rough second. He tweeted out that Tua had a rough second half of the practice. Marcel Louis-Jacques, former Bills guy, now he's on the Dolphins beat. He came out and he said Tua was sharp all day and didn't throw his first incompletion till late in practice. So people are out here like, who do I believe? Travis Wingfield does a great job. End of the day, he's a company man. He can't tell you everything he wants to tell you because, y'all think we're loyal to the logo. That man's checks are cut by the team. So there's a new level of loyalty he's got to be to the logo. And that's part of his job. He can only tell you so much, especially from a critical standpoint during training camp, right? Then you got guys like Alain Poupart, see, here's the thing. I'm going to tell you, and let me be honest with y'all. And this is just where I'm at, okay? I break down film for you guys. I talk about stuff, et cetera, et cetera. All right? I don't trust a lot of our eyes in our media. Like, I trust the younger guys a little bit more. Like Daniel Oifusi, he clearly knows what he's talking about. David Furones has been around football. He knows what he's talking about. Omar Kelly has had some real big whiffs, but at least I know he watches film. But like when you look at like Joe Shad and, Hal Habib and these other guys, I mean, Adam Beasley, they don't watch film. They don't know how to watch film. And even still, I trust my eyes more than a lot of these guys that even do watch film. That's just me. Right. And that's a big issue and a big disconnect. Like, I really think the local beat needs someone who's not only plugged in, but someone who we all know and trust in terms of what they watch. The thing is, that would be Wingfield, but that was Locked On Dolphins Wingfield, not Drive Time Travis Wingfield. Big difference, right? So, again, you guys are going to get out there Saturday. I believe they're off tomorrow. You guys are going to get eyes out there. We're going to see a lot more. We're going to hear a lot more from you guys. And that's going to add to it. We're not just going to have, our beat writers or, I know Cameron Wolf's going to be live on NFL Network from camp tomorrow. Not guys, working for a big conglomerate or a local beat. Because let's be honest, some of these local beat guys, they're soured over the product they've seen for the last 15, 20 years that they've been covering. Rome Gray, Locked On Travis was elite, bro. Locked On Travis was elite. I used to plug Locked On Travis all the time when I was on TD Fins Talk and when I started this channel. So, I mean, I don't know, man. It's a real interesting thing. We're getting conflicting reports already, and we'll get into it. I'll show you what we're talking about. There was even conflicting reports on a throw. There was a conflicting reports on not only Tua's day, but there's also conflicting reports on a single throw that Tua made to Tyreek. Right? So David Ferona's tweeted out as if, it was underthrown and wobbly. I'll show you what Travis Wingfield said. He throws it out there like the coverage was strong over the top. So Tua threw it underneath on purpose where only Tyreek could make the catch and make a play on it. Again, conflicting reports and conflicting takes. That's just what it is. So we'll go over everything. Like I said, I'm also, we're going to take a look at Tyreek's media availability clearly by the title of the video. On top of that, I've got all the clips from today. And we're going to take a look at that Chase Edmonds article. I can't tell you enough. I'm going to read the third part today. You guys have to go back and read the first two parts. Absolutely great stuff by Tyler Dunn. Again, that name may ring the bell with you guys because of that piece he did with Lynn Bowden Jr. last year. The one where he talked about how when he called one of the Raiders coordinators, they didn't know that he could hear all of them talking and stuff like that. If you remember that piece, that's the one I'm talking about. So check it out. Very, very, very good stuff by Tyler Dunn. Very good stuff by Tyler Dunn. So, yeah, we got a lot to get into. I appreciate all of you. I posted a Patreon update today. For all of you patrons, if you haven't had a chance to see it, it was most of the info that I told y'all I was going to post yesterday. It was that along with a few new things mixed in there, some info I got today and some things that were followed up with today. So if you're a patron, there is an update for you. I thought it was going to be short and I wrote it out. I was like, oh, this is longer than I thought it would be. So check it out. Obviously the updates are going to ramp up as we get heavier and deeper into training camp right now. If you didn't see today, Ryan Jensen went down for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you can actually see the injury on Twitter. You can find it. Brother, it is... Whoo-wee! You can hear Treader scream when he goes down. Like, literally. Chris, I believe the lowest Patreon is like $2 or $3. I'm going to upload it for YouTube channel members, that update. I'm going to update it under the community tab for members only. So if you are a YouTube channel member, wait about half hour after the show is done, and I will be putting that under the community tab for members only. So only members will see the posts. Anyways, Ryan Jensen, the reason why I'm bringing this up, first of all, if you see the video, it's absolutely gut-wrenching when you hear him scream. You literally hear him scream. It's brutal, and it's bad. And the reason why I'm telling you this is JC Treader. That could be who they target in on right now. So It looks like JC waited out. He's going to get the call. And because of that, he's probably going to get more closer to the market value he wanted than what other teams are asking. So we'll see how that works out. But I'm letting you guys know just to keep an eye on. And y'all remember, I wanted Jensen so bad. And I know people are tagging me about Jensen getting hurt today. Guys, just because he got hurt in Tampa Bay, if go watch the injury. It's not to say he would have got hurt with us. It would have been in a different situation. So, by the way, Finn CB83 has shown up. Finn's take with CB83. Go give the homie some love. Go give him a follow if you guys can on YouTube. All right, 300 of you in the room. Let's get into everything. Again, smash that like button. Help me out with my friend Al Go Rhythm. All right. Now, we're going to start off like we did yesterday. Let's go over McDaniel's presser. And we'll go over the cliff notes of it through the Miami Herald, and then we'll get into the recap of the day. So, from Barry Jackson today, instead of signing a veteran center, the Dolphins opted instead to sign an accomplished guard, Connor Williams, and move him to center. Coach Mike McDaniel clarified the situation on Thursday morning, indicating that while Williams is a center at this time, the Dolphins didn't sign him with the intent of making him a center. Williams played left guard primarily for the Dallas Cowboys, though he did take snaps at center during Cowboys training camp and preseason. We weren't signing him to be a center, McDaniel said. We were signing offensive linemen. We thought his skill would be best utilized at the center position. With him only having limited reps at it in the past, we wanted to give him a full opportunity. We weren't going after Connor because this guy is a center. We think this is a good offensive lineman who could play multiple positions. That's why those type of signings are intriguing. He will do everything to do the best he can at that position. But if the team is better off with him at another position, he's learning the offense from inside out, from the best position to do that, which is a center position. What is he looking for from a center in regards to McDaniel? You want someone that can really move. In an ideal world, you can do the best job attacking the defense if you have some athleticism at the position and some strength. It's close quarters. It's as close to the ball as any player on the line of scrimmage. They have to make calls that 4 other players are depending on. So we're all on the same page. That's why Connor was too attractive to us. He's house money, an NFL guard or center. Now, when you talk about making calls, that is one of the biggest jobs of a center, right? Like, see, the quarterback and the center have to work in unison, but it starts with the center. All right. The center is the one who IDs, has to help ID the mic, ID protections. He helps shift the protections. A lot of people think a lot of adjustments at the line are on the quarterback. No, that is a major responsibility of the center. That's the center's number 1 responsibility, and then the quarterback is the number 2 responsibility at the line of scrimmage. Now, I'm talking about in terms of tiering. Now, in their own individual thing, it is big for a pre-snap for a quarterback to be very aware at the line of scrimmage and the protections that are being shifted and what he's seeing from a defensive standpoint. But that is one of the primary, basically, bro, what's the job of a center? All the pre-snap identifications, snap the ball, then block. Right? Quarterback has a lot more things on his plate throughout one singular play than a center does. That's why a lot of that pre-snap recognition stuff and adjustments at the line, when we're talking about adjustments at the line and when we're talking IDing blitzers, when we're talking about, hey, quarterbacks got to make their hot reads 110%. But why do you think you see centers pointing one way, pointing the other way with their heads constantly on a swivel? The good ones, at least, that are overly vocal. Look at how much a good center like that changed that offensive line in Los Angeles for Justin Herbert. So, yes, the quarterback has responsibility in terms of IDs, whether it's blitzers, mics, whatever. But a lot of that is shouldered on the center. And, That's why if it was so easy, you just go out there, snap the ball, and block. But it's all this stuff up here and all the mental intangible stuff that centers have to learn and get accustomed to. That's why Dieter being so behind the curve, being moved from guard because he only played center a little bit at Wisconsin early on. This is why. Right? Reps. So the Dolphins have stuck with the same starting offensive line as they used in OTAs. The team won't permit that line to be reported. McDaniel addressed other issues on Thursday morning. McDaniel will relay plays directly to Tua Tagovailoa into his headset this season. He has been using a walkie-talkie to do it during training camp. So, hey, we already day 2 of practice at training camp, and we already know who the play caller is. I like it. No, McDaniel, are you sure you don't want to give everyone a competitive advantage? Are you sure you want to do that? Clown mentality Flores was rolling with, man. McDaniel on outside linebacker Melvin Ingram, who looks positioned to have a major role. It was cool to see him yesterday. He was practicing for the first time, but we had planned not to have him in team periods to make sure we didn't put him in harm's way. He was fighting tooth and nail with defensive coaches. They let him in 11-11 work for a couple plays. That's what you want from a veteran leader that has had production. I don't know how many sacks he's had last year, 2 in 15 games, but he had a lot of impact. He was a better run defender than I remember him. He's really grown in that. As a pass rusher, he has a lot of activity in and around the quarterback. Last year, he was producing a little more than people realize in terms of quarterback pressures in Pittsburgh and Kansas City. We've talked about that when we made the signing, right? I'm pumped about where he's at. And you know what? I love that too. Seeing that Melvin Ingram is fighting tooth and nail to get out on the field because he wants to be out with his teammates and he wants to fit in. Beautiful thing. On having shorter practices with a fast tempo. It's challenging. We have to be forthright with the players so they understand where we are making concessions in reps that have to be made up in walkthrough setting. Time has proven if you want to be elite at something, you have to deliberately practice it. And practicing at full speed is the best way to do it. McDaniel said if players are treating practice reps closer to game reps, it's an overall benefit to them. As long as they understand we need to make up reps somehow. He said, I was very happy with day 1 because it was a purposeful practice. Both sides of the ball had their best intent, so you got an actual physiological rep in the process. You won't have to learn that lesson in a game when you're running at full speed. So, great stuff from McDaniel. Man, honestly, absolutely love his pressers. Such a breath of fresh air, man. Such an absolute breath of fresh air. Now with that, let's go and start and get into the actual training camp reports. We're going to start with the most accessible to everyone. We'll start off with Travis Wingfield's Twitter feed. Then we'll start going behind paywalls for all of you guys. Yeah, let's do this. So, starting off with Travis Wingfield here. And I'll bring it up for you guys so we can scroll and go through it together. Let's bring it up. All right. The big play of the day was a 40-yard connection from Tua to Tyreek Hill. The coverage did a good job staying on top, and the ball settled Tyreek between the two defenders, and he squeezed a tough contested catch going to the ground. Okay, so you read that, and you're like, oh, like that's impressive, man, And now I'm not going to put it up on the screen for you guys but I will read it for you. Now, if you were to come over and you were to look at what David Ferrona said, and this is what got everyone like all, worked up. He said at day 2 of Dolphins training camp on Thursday, Tua Tagovailoa connected deep with Tyreek Hill in 11-11, but it was a wobbly underthrown pass for roughly 45 air yards that Hill had to come back to get. Tua also had a nice 25-yard sideline pass to Hill. He also said Tua Tagovailoa had 2 passes over the middle that should have been intercepted by Nick Needham once and later Brandon Jones, but were dropped. Second consecutive day, he had voiced at least 1 near interception. So, a lot of people were taking issue with, okay, that's the same play they're clearly talking about. Travis Wingfield is making it seem like, because the coverage was on top, Tua put it to a spot where Tyreek can make the play between the defenders and obviously made the catch. David Ferrona says it was a wobbly underthrown pass for roughly 45 yards that Hill had to come back to. So big difference right there. And that was one of the first conflicting reports of today, because we'll get into the other ones. So continuing on, he said Jaylen Waddle had a ridiculous catch in the first team period. He created separation on an intermediate route. The ball from Teddy was a bit high and inside, and he went back in and caught it over the defender's helmet. I love watching him in indies. Consistent separation all day. And that's actually going to be in the highlight package, that throw. We got the highlight of that today. So we'll look over that in a little bit and show you exactly what he's talking about. Javon Holland had the play of the day on defense. Tua threw a well-located ball to the sideline to Eric Ezukama, high and away. Ezukama had the catch above his head, but here comes Holland from the far hash to the near sideline to separate the hands. Outrageous range, man. I was told Javon Holland, Jalen Phillips, and Trill Williams, their practice speed is ridiculous right now. They've clearly taken a leap. Despite that play, I thought Ezukama was really damn good today. Physical plays through contact, fights for the ball, and usually wins. Caught a ball off balance, put the hand down, stayed up through some contact. Same type of play we saw regularly on his Texas Tech tape. Salvin Ahmed had a big run yesterday, make it 2 in as many days. He had an explosive run where he pressed inside and bounced out. Robert Jones and Larnell Coleman, the key blocks on the play. McDaniel and Lynn Bowden did a jump high five after the play. Raekwon Davis did his best tree stump imitation today. Immovable in the run game. He's going to be huge for our defense. That's one injury we cannot afford. Shut down, strung out a lot of plays. Run D in general was very good. Wilkins had some stops. Seiler too. Melvin Ingram reset the edge a number of times. Tyndall is an absolute blur and flashes big. Love it. Let's go. In one of the last team periods, Tua had a scramble and a throwaway. Good coverage from Needham, Igbo, X, Holland, Brandon Jones. On the scramble, Jackson had a great rep working on Ingram to run him around the arc. I like that. I thought Robert Jones popped a bit too. Good feet set, wide base. I love it. That's very encouraging. Needham was awesome today, and he saved his best for the end. Ran the route for a receiver in the final team period, undercut the route, and damn near picked the pass from Tua, but didn't survive the ground. Porter Gustin had a would-be sack and a pressure in team drills. Duke Riley on a free run down the pipe for a sack. DeAndre Johnson got free off the edge on that play too. Trill Williams got his hands on another pass, a really nice breakup on a shot to Trent Sherfield over the middle. Tua found Tyreek on a gorgeous anticipation ball. The perimeter where Tyreek's speed keeps the over-the-top coverage, and the anticipation takes care of the underneath coverage. That was the theme today. Ball out before Tyreek breaks, and then his speed gets him there right on time. Eric Rowe had some nice work today, particularly playing in space and coverage, then closing down, was all over some checkdowns in the team period. Brandon Jones drove on a pass from Tua for a near pick. Solid pass breakup instead. Liam Eichenberg's awareness stood out today on the line. He was quick to secure a block for a teammate with a double help block that then would scan to find more work. So nice to see his head's on the swivel. Kadir Kahu finishes practice with a beautiful pass breakup on a deep shot from Skylar Thompson. Apparently Thompson really struggled today. Defense really turned it up late in practice and got a lot of hands-on footballs. So that's what Travis Wingfield had to say. Now, let's get into what Adam Beasley had to say on Pro Football Network, because he created some conflict today with his takes and Marcel Louis-Jacques. They were different. So, Miami Dolphins training camp observations. An honest conversation about Tua's arm strength. Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa will never be Justin Herbert. He's in 6'6", 236 pounds with a cannon for an arm. And that's okay. Tua does other important things better than Herbert, including accuracy and timing. But as Thursday's training camp practice demonstrated, Tagovailoa will probably forever have limitations when the elements are a factor. Miami Dolphins QB Tagovailoa slumps late in practice. The heat wasn't the issue Thursday, and probably never will be for the Hawaiian. But the wind was. The goalpost flags were flying, and during team drills, Tagovailoa threw directly into the wind. That wind impacted a number of his throws, including his biggest completion of camp so far, a 45-yard hookup with Tyreek Hill. The ball fluttered and was significantly underthrown. Credit Hill for adjusting to it and making a play. Tua later nearly had a pick when he threw late across the middle, with Brandon Jones able to close on the ball that didn't have the necessary zip, sorry. It was one of 2 dropped interceptions the Dolphins defense had on passes thrown by Tagovailoa, who unofficially completed 5 of 9 attempts for 108 yards. Nick Needham out-muscled Preston Williams for inside leverage on an in-breaking route and should have had the pick. This isn't meant to dump on Tagovailoa, who had several excellent throws on Thursday, including a dart to Hill across the middle and early in practice. It's just an acknowledgement of reality. The Dolphins have games in Chicago, Buffalo, and New England during the season's last 2 months. Playing in the AFC East means he'll have to deal with bad weather as long as he's a Dolphins quarterback, and he has yet to consistently demonstrate he can. Speaking of Hill, so we'll go over what Tyreek said later on. Questions remain at center for the Dolphins. The Dolphins are determined to give Connor Williams every opportunity to become their starting center, but they're also keeping an open mind if the experiment does not work out. Free agent options, if they want to go there, include JC Tretter, but with Ryan Jensen's injury at Bucks camp on Thursday, Tretter might be out of work for long. You're just going to try and do the best with what's available to you with your options. McDaniel said you exhaust everything, and then you're sitting there saying, what's better? The scenario where you've got injuries and Connor at center, or you're signing someone else off the street, or there's someone from your practice squad within. You just don't black or white that to me. I know the way Chris Greer feels as well. The biggest thing you exhaust all scenarios as you can attempt to do the best thing for the Miami Dolphins. Williams, who played guard during his time with the Cowboys, had a clean practice Thursday, but his backups, a group that was missing Michael Dieter for undisclosed reason, had as many as 3 botched quarterback center exchanges. More observations. Along with Dieter, Armstead, running back Raheem Mostert, and defensive tackle Adam Butler were not spotted at practice today. With Armstead out, Greg Little got a long look. It didn't go particularly well. He had a false start and allowed a sack on a player where he tried to hold Jalen Phillips. He's probably going to get cut. Austin Jackson looks lean in year 3. Now right tackle, Jackson is listed at 320, but he looks significantly smaller than Robert Hunt, who's listed at 335. Jaylen Waddle had a fantastic practice, catching at least 6 passes in team drills. So you saw especially how he talked about how he had a bad second half of practice, right? The conflict started. He tweeted out something similar, that he had a rough second half. But you look at what Marcel tweeted out today. Again, a guy who's been on the Bills beat, right? Second year with us, so he's not really biased. He said Tua was sharp today. Didn't see him miss a pass till late in practice. Holland did earn a pass breakup in 7-on-7. And he said Tua delivered an accurate jump ball to Izukama, who adjusted beautifully to high point it. Holland made a better play to punch the ball out on the way to the rookie's ground. And he says a rough day for Skylar Thompson. 3 dot passes today. Anyways, and then you had someone, bring up the win thing to Marcel, and they brought up David Ferona's wobbly throw. He said, I mean, he threw a wobbly ball into the wind, but it still got where he needed to go. That doesn't mean he wasn't sharp. So even Marcel said, talking about the 45-yard throw to Tyreek, he brought it up and said, hey, he was throwing into wind. It was a little bit wobbly, but it got where it needed to go. And that doesn't mean he wasn't sharp today. So again, conflicting reports have fans looking at all these people like, oh my God. And that's why I cannot wait for y'all to get down there on Saturday and really see it for yourself, man. Really get out there and see it for yourself. Right? So I trust Marcel more Marcel, I think, is, I see someone said Marcel's a straight shooter. I agree with that 110%. I like the new cats better, right? Like, I like Omar and Barry Jackson, but the rest of them I can do without. But I like Daniel, David, and I like Marcel, and I like Cam. I can do without the Shads. I can do without the Beasleys. I don't think Hal Habib adds much to this. You know what I mean? So, I can do without David Hyde. So, and I know a lot of people don't like Omar, and that's fine. I don't agree with a bunch of stuff he says, but I mean, at least the guy tries to be honest with us and not, sell, sell us BS. So, anyways, that's where it came from with Marcel. I believe Marcel. I think he's good at what he does. Came over here from Buffalo, so he's going to be as unbiased as they come. If he says Tua was sharp today, and let me tell you all this. I'm going to tell you all this, okay? I know, there's good reason to take what Marcel's saying at face value. That's what I'm going to say. Without giving anything away, I'm going to say, trust me. Marcel is not a Tua lover or a Tua stan or anything by that stretch of the imagination. So if he's telling all that about Tua, he's being honest, man. Trust me on that one. Let's keep it moving here. So here is what went down according to the Miami Herald. This is what they had to say today. They said the Miami Dolphins' second training camp practice featured a mix of 11-11 drills, 7-on-7 passing drills, and mundane special teams work. Some highlights on a day that the quarterbacks played pretty well. Again, he's telling you the quarterbacks played pretty well. Receiver Jaylen Waddle, he had a spectacular leaping catch over rookie cornerback Kadir Kahu on a high throw from Teddy Bridgewater, then took a crossing pattern from Tua Tagovailoa in 7-on-7s for sizable gain, and then he made catches for chunk yardage. Waddle has had a very strong start to camp. On Thursday, he wore an orange jersey given to the player who was a standout of the previous day's practice, Chase Edmonds. Oh, it's difficult to assess a running game in non-tackling drills without pads. Edmonds displayed good bursts on multiple runs for the second day in a row. He hits a hole hard. Every rushing attempt he has been a positive one. And he's also an asset as a receiver, a skill he displayed Thursday. Tyreek Hill, he's on the list virtually every day with a handful of chunk plays. He did have one drop and banged on his head in frustration. Javon Holland, a talented second-year safety, broke up 2 passes. He's always around the ball. Plays of the day, Waddle's leaping catch early in practice. Holland broke up that well-thrown ball pass, sideline pass from Tagovailoa to rookie receiver Eric Azuka on the sideline. Hill made a leaping sideline catch off a Tua Tagovailoa throw on a play covering 25 yards. And Tino Ellis, who just joined them, had a great breakup on a Skylar Thompson pass. Other notable stuff from today. Again, Tagovailoa was sharp with his accuracy on a dozen throws and didn't throw an interception for a second day in a row, but he did throw 2 near interceptions, one on a pass over the middle that cornerback Nick Needham nearly hauled in, and another that safety Brandon Jones had a good chance to snag. Tagovailoa completed a pass that traveled 45 air yards to Hill. The ball was underthrown, and Hill had to come back to catch the pass, but it was a completion all the same. Instead of forcing a mistake, he smartly threw the ball away on one play when nobody was open and a pass rush was in his face. Last season, Tagovailoa threw too many picks with pressure in his face. Myles Gaskin very much on the bubble, maximized several rushing opportunities today. Sony Michel, his prime competition for the number 3 job, had a long run. And Jared Dokes, a long shot to stick, picked up a first down on a throw from Bridgewater. With Emmanuel Ogbah across from him, Greg Little jumped off sides and was called for a penalty. Little is competing with Larnell Coleman, Kellen Deesh, and others for a backup offensive tackle job. Little was also beaten for a sack by Jalen Phillips. Second-year tight end Hunter Long had one of his better practices at camp as a Dolphins, catching multiple passes for sizable gains. He's competing with Adam Shaheen for snaps behind Mike Gesicki and Durham Smythe. Shane's roster spot could be at risk if Long continues to develop. Preston Williams dropped a long pass from Bridgewater, the ball falling off his fingertips. Rookie running back Zaquandre White dropped a perfect throw from Thompson on a crossing pattern. Lynn Bowden Jr., battling for 5th and 6th receiver jobs, was among those working as returners. So he got some special teams work today. Like to see that. Jason Sanders made several field goals without a miss, including one from 52 yards. Bridgewater needed better touch on a sideline pass to Trent Sherfield, which was incomplete. It would have been a very difficult catch. There were center quarterback problems involving Thompson and young backup centers. Availability today, Michael Dieter and defensive tackle Adam Butler were not spotted at practice. Terran Armstead and running back Raheem Mostert, both coming off knee injuries, were given practices off as part of their management programs. Both have been cleared to play. Byron Jones remains on the physically unable to perform list, but intends to be ready for the regular season. So again, Barry adds a lot more stuff that we hadn't even heard about Gaskins or Zaquandre White or Lynn Bowden. So a lot of good stuff from Barry there. One of the best in the biz, man. One of the best in the biz. So a lot of good stuff from Barry there. Man, I love, the depthness of that. I like hearing names that other people aren't, like the amount of work he put in compared to Adam Beasley. Unbelievable. So here's the Sun Sentinel and their training camp observations today, including Omar's stock up, stock down that he does every year. He gives a player who's stock up and a player whose stock's gone down after each practice day. He's been doing it for years. Jaylen Waddle put on a tutorial about Houston rap music on Thursday, and it is possible his music showcase might carry over to Friday based on his productivity in the Miami Dolphins' second practice. Y'all like that playlist Waddle asked the media after taking off his orange jersey? The orange jersey, which is given to the previous day's top performer by the Dolphins coaches, is a reward system that gives players the opportunity to control the music played the next day at practice. Waddle's playlist, which began with the Zero song Mo City Dawn, stood out as just much as half of his dozen receptions, which consistently moved the chains. His performance was so impressive, Waddle might become the first Dolphins player to earn the orange jersey for back-to-back standout performances during the Mike McDaniel era. But it wasn't just Waddle getting off on the Dolphins secondary, which was practicing without Byron Jones, who was on the physically unable to perform list because of an ankle injury, and Xavier Howard, whose participation is limited daily to a handful of reps early in the 11-11 period. Waddle and Tyreek Hill made a number of standout catches from quarterbacks Tua Tagovailoa and Teddy Bridgewater during Miami's second practice. The most impressive play of Thursday's practice was a deep connection Hill pulled in from Tagovailoa, which was underthrown possibly because it got caught up in the wind, but still produced a 45-yard gain. This season is going to be fast and electric, Hill said. When asked how deep, and then we'll get into that. Some more observations. Free safety Javon Holland had 2 pass breakups that could have changed possession in a real game. Strong safety Brandon Jones dropped a possible pick-6 interception of a Tagovailoa pass that took forever to get to its intended target. Nick Needham also dropped a possible interception from Tagovailoa. Jalen Phillips produced a would-be sack and would have drawn a holding penalty on Greg Little during a play in which Tagovailoa connected on a 30-yard pass to Hill if the play hadn't been ruled dead. Because there are no refs on the field during these practices, Tagovailoa was allowed to throw the ball, but by the time it was out of his hands, Phillips was already celebrating. Linebacker Duke Riley made a would-be stop before Myles Gaskin could turn a reception on 3rd and 6 play into a first down. Tailback Chase Edmonds had a 3rd and 8 conversion from Bridgewater, which was a great read from the veteran quarterback. Cornerback Tino Ellis, who was signed on Wednesday, broke up a Skylar Thompson pass to Trent Sherfield with a diving swat of the ball. Melvin Ingram had a second straight productive practice in his limited snaps during 11-11, making a tackle in the backfield among producing a would-be sack. So stock up. McDaniel, who will call plays on an offense for the first time in his career, seemingly brought his real offense out for a test drive on Thursday. The amount of misdirection and movement plays inserted into Miami's West Coast style offense clearly presented Miami's defenders challenges because talents like Hill and Waddle were wide open most of practice. Josh Boyer's defense didn't feature much, if any, blitzing on Thursday. But McDaniel's unit was seemingly showcasing how much speed they have and the potential to get playmakers open in the field. Stock down. Skylar Thompson. The Dolphins' 7th-round pick primarily worked in a shotgun-based offense at the University of Nevada, and it showed when he was asked to handle snaps under center on Thursday. Thompson had 3 fumbled exchanges during the session, and they came from multiple centers. The rookie quarterback hasn't stood out for good on bad play hasn't stood out for good or bad play since joining the team this summer. And he also hasn't had issues working under center during practices the media attended. Injury update. Dieter and Butler out. Armstead, Mozart out. Same old, same old. So, again, some good stuff added there by look at the stock up. The stock up for 500 of you in the room. Smash that like button, subscribe if you're new. I mean, the stock up just for McDaniel and his explanation, I like it. Again, going in depth. No one else in their piece yet has gone in depth about the misdirection and motion they were seeing and how wide open it was getting, guys. So I'm digging that. Good stuff. So more practice observations. This time we head over to SI. And it says the Miami Dolphins' second practice of training camp was longer than the first and closed the session with a long sequence of 11-11 plays. The last one featuring a diving pass breakup by newly signed cornerback Tino Ellis on a deep down the right sideline throw from Skylar Thompson intended for Trent Sherfield. Let's dive into the practice recap. Attendance report. Along with the 2 players who began camp on injury lists, there were 4 players not spotted at practice on Thursday. Armstead, Mozart, Dieter, Butler. We know what the deal is. Top performers, according to Elaine Papar. Cornerback Trill Williams, who had the biggest play of the practice Wednesday with a pick 6, had another really good play when he got his arm over the shoulder of Sherfield on a pass from Teddy. I'm telling you right now, we're 2 days in. Trill's already separating himself from Noah Igbenogany. Noah going into his 3rd year, and what are we getting? Trill's still showing up. Trill's locking in CB4. Locking it in. Wide receiver Jaylen Waddle wore the orange jersey as the best practice player for Wednesday and had himself another impressive outing. He caught 6 passes in team drills and another passing period where 5 receivers won out against 9 defenders. Waddle's first catch was an impressive grab of a long pass from Bridgewater where he outjumped rookie corner Kadar Kahu. Running back Chase Edmonds looked fast and decisive on his running plays, and then made a nice catch on a Bridgewater pass over the middle that appeared to be thrown a bit behind him. His QB watch. Because it's training camp, we need to talk about the quarterback performances every practice. Through the first set of team drills, when he only had 1 pass attempt, and that 6-on-9 in passing period, Tua Tagovailoa was having himself a really good practice. But things went south a bit during that final extended set of 11-11 plays. Tagovailoa ended up 5 for 9 11-11 drills with a long completion of about 45 yards to Tyreek Hill, though Hill had to slow down to catch the underthrown ball. Worse, there were 2 dropped interceptions against Tua, one by Brandon Jones and one by Needham. On the Needham play, the cornerback was playing outside and undercut Preston Williams on a deep slant. Tua's best pass came on a deep slant to rookie Braylon Sanders for about a 20-yard gain. So there you go. We hadn't even heard about that. And Braylon Sanders is a guy you guys know I'm quietly high on. And we hadn't even heard about that throw yet. So again, another layer. That's why you always got to go over everything here. Bridgewater was 9 for 12 in 11-11 drills, though that included some dump-offs and a lot of short throws. His most impressive pass actually was incomplete, as Wilson dropped a perfectly thrown pass down the right sidelines. Williams, sorry. Yo, Preston, between dropping passes today and muffing punts yesterday, bro, Williams is on his way out the door, huh? Rookie 7th-round pick Skylar Thompson had a rough day, particularly when it comes to center quarterback exchanges. Thompson bobbled a snap 3 times, though without replay, it was difficult to gauge who was at fault on those plays. He ended up attempting only 2 passes in team drills, completing a check down to running back Jared Dokes before the long incompletion on the last play. Other highlights from today: not a great practice for Greg Little, who committed a false start and later held Jalen Phillips after Phillips got around him on a pass rush. Hill got himself wide open across the middle of the field on the first play of team drills, but later dropped a short throw from Tua when he was wide open in the flat. The throw was a bit off the mark, but still should have been caught. Hill and Williams weren't the only ones who had dropped passes, because also happened with Sircondre White. Rookie 4th-round pick Eric Izakama again showed his great body control, twisting to make a catch on a deep sideline pass from Tua in the 6-on-9 until Javon Holland came over to knock the ball away. Along with Phillips, rookie free agent DeAndre Johnson also got around the tackle on a pass rush. And second-year tight end Hunter Long had a couple of catches after a very quiet first day. Good to see. It's crazy to me that Preston Williams, Lynn Bowden, Stephen Carter, Adam Shaheen all on the bubble, and 3 of those guys could be realistically gone in a couple weeks. Absolutely crazy to me. Crazy. And then finally, in terms of recaps, here is the day 2 recap from the Palm Beach Post. Said the Dolphins had their second training camp practice under new coach Mike McDaniel on Thursday at Baptist Health Training Complex. Here are some things we noted. Obviously, same guys that everyone else has reported were out. Jaylen Waddle made some 3 nice catches early in practice, 2 from Tua, 1 from Teddy. Waddle was wearing an orange jersey, obviously because he was the best player from last practice. Eric Uzukama couldn't haul in a completion attempt on the sideline, the one that Holland broke up. At 6'2", Mohamed Sanu is tied with Cedric Wilson as the Dolphins' second tallest wide receiver behind Preston Williams, who's 6'5". Preston failed to haul in a long pass attempt. Tyreek hauled a very long catch over the middle from Tua. It was, however, underthrown. Nick Needham dropped what should have been an interception from Tua over the middle. Needham threw the ball down in disgust. Hill caught a long pass to the left sideline from Tua. Hill claimed it was in bounds, though the defense disputed that. Javon Holland had a nice breakup, and Brandon Jones nearly intercepted Tagovailoa with a pass over the middle. I mean, Joe, quick and to the point, huh, Joe? Didn't go into too much detail, bro. Not like the rest of them. All right, guys, let's get into with that. I'm going to play. We're going to recap the day with a nice little video of all the highlights of today. Then we're going to get into Tyreek Hill's media availability. And then I want to get into an article from Tyler Dunn. So with that said, let's go ahead. Let's play the video recapping today. It's about 3 minutes long. A lot of stuff in here. So let's play it. See the defense putting in work on tackle machines in the bags. Just some bag work. Look at that 1 foot hop step. That's craziness. And then here we got again some more sled work right here by the defense, getting it rolling. Love to see it, man. Love to see them grinding, putting in the work right away. Love it, baby. Comes a Landon Roberts stepping up. Let's go. Let's go, baby. And I don't know if any of y'all have seen Tyndall, but they showed a picture of Tyndall next to all the linebackers, and my God. He's what a real linebacker looks like. He is what a real linebacker looks like. I'm expecting, his performance the past 2 days has hyped me up for Tyndall in year 1. He looks like he's going to put in some real work in year 1. For sure. Jerome back up. It's going to be interesting to see because Jerome took a step forward last year production-wise. You got the quarterbacks warming up. It's going to be interesting to see Jerome Baker, how his development continues under Boyer without Flores around, right? Here we go. Just got the quarterbacks warming up a little bit. Getting the arms loose. Getting the arms loose. Getting the hips loose. Just zing. Love it. Love it. All right, Noah Benogany. That was his highlight for today. That was the Noah Benogany highlight. All right, receivers, they break because it's about to get real in that receiver room. Ooh. Look at how fast Hill is. I can't believe Tyreek Hill is still on the team. Ridiculous. Jaylen Waddle showing off that orange jersey today. Look at they had him on some kick return, little kick return today. Love it. Two to Smythe. Let's go. X. Look at this throw from Teddy. Nice throw. Nice throw from Teddy. Tua. Look at that. Hits Hill underneath. Just take it, baby. Just run with it, Tyreek. And then here's the play of the day. Woo! Look at that catch. Look at that catch. We got to bring that back. We got to show this man some respect. Woo! Jaylen Waddle, go up and get that, baby. Bro, Teddy going to get this man killed with these kind of throws, though. Damn. What a catch by Jaylen, man. Best number 2 in the NFL. Tell me I'm wrong. Man, that's the throw everyone was talking about today. Teddy got to bring that football down. He's about to get Waddle killed over the middle with something like that, bro. You got to bring that ball, not those can opener throws, Teddy. You can get our boy killed out there. Jeez. All right. With that said, let's get into Tyreek Hill's media availability. As you notice, we go over the reports, we go over the highlights, then we get into media availabilities because I like to go in chronological order. So let's get into Tyreek's media availability because he said a lot of, I'll say he said a few interesting things today. So I'll bring that up for you guys right here.
Possible combination of you and Jaylen Waddle. How special could Jaylen be eventually? What both of you can collectively do?
It's gonna be fun. You know, I feel like this season is gonna be, fast and electric. So it's gonna be definitely fun. I'm excited for it, and I can't wait to get to the season. Well, the season is here, but I can't wait till we actually play against other teams.
Having said that, when you guys line up on the same side, even here in practice, what do you think defense is?
Oh, they're scared shitless. I'm gonna tell you what, J-Dub, like he's faster than I thought. Like when I first got here, I was like, okay, he's a 4.3. Because typically, like when you see 4.3 guys, they don't run as fast on the football field. But J-Dub, like he actually runs a 4.3 on the football field. There's a difference, right? So, like I said, man, I'm very excited for the season. I can't wait to see him blossom and continue to move his game forward, which I know he will because he comes out here every single day and he works hard and he wants to get better. So.
He said his plays.
Guys, he was just asking about what's going to happen when you guys line up on the same side. And this man just told you defenses are going to be scared shitless. Woo, and with the misdirection and motion, it's going to happen.
You said what?
His playlist was the most bumping so far.
I wouldn't say all that, but it was all right. They got us going. As you seen today, offense was kind of rolling today. So you can say that.
On third downs with you and Jaylen and Gesicki and Cedric Wilson and either Chase or Raheem, can teams stop you if you execute as you should?
I mean, I'm going to say this, dog. I never say, like, another man will be able to stop us. You know what I'm saying? It really doesn't matter who lines up across us. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I know that Coach McDaniel and Tua, they got all the confidence in every single guy that lines up on offense to win their matchup. So
check your pulse, baby. This man just said no one's going to be able to stop us on third down if everyone does their job. Check your pulse.
Yeah.
How would you describe it?
Same way. I feel like it's one of those situations that.
Shout out to Ron for the donation.
I feel like,
appreciate you.
I've been in the league for some time now, and I know that my time gonna come here, end soon. So, like, I just want to see him continue to grow his game, continue to learn the same way I did, because I feel like when he came into the league, he didn't have like that big bro. Like it was just him. He just came and he still put up 1,000 yards. So
yep.
I'm gonna do anything I can to help him move his game forward.
Let's go.
Help him succeed in this league.
What a leader.
Tyreek, what do you like about the plays that are in this particular playbook?
What do you mean? From Kansas City to here?
No, I mean the 49ers, Mike McDaniel, Shanahan style offense. They give you the playbook, probably on an iPad these days, right? And you're looking through it. What do you like about it?
I tell you what, man, trying to learn that stuff, man, is
Listen
probably
to
the
this.
hardest thing I've ever been a part of in offense, and I'm a smart guy when it comes to like understanding football plays and concepts. But like when I first got here, I'm like, Coach West. Like, I do not understand any of this, but, once I learned the offense, everything began to click, the concepts and stuff like that. And it's a lot of misdirections, a lot of, play action passes. And for a speed guy like me, man, being able to run across the field freely and catch the ball and just get upfield, it's a match made in heaven, baby.
Tyreek.
Okay, we got to stop there for a sec. Him saying that, people need to talk about this a lot more. This shows you, this is a guy who's been in the league for 6 years under Andy Reid, and even he's saying, man, I came here and this is complicated stuff. So if he thinks, you got to think about how much more complicated is it for our guys on the offensive line right now if Tyreek is saying that. Now, obviously, the basis and the foundations of blocking are, but they're just talking about, if you want to learn everything on this, it's complex, right? So, the quarterbacks, the running backs, the receivers, it's a complex job for them. And then the offensive line, they're going from a power gap to an outside zone scheme and West Coast principles in the passing game. So it's totally new to them too. So you look at this, and when Tyreek says that, you should automatically say to yourself, wow, the defense should be way ahead of them.
You got your podcast obviously going. You were on First State recently. It feels like you're even more visible since you've been down here than ever before. What has this process been of kind of finding your voice and expanding that brand?
I don't know, man. I just had some talks with my family, dog, my mom, my girl, and that was just like, bro, people just really like need to understand who you are as a person, as a player, as a father, also as a teammate. I just feel like sometimes football players, we have a helmet on, during the whole game, so people really don't, know who we are or,
Look at you as a number.
Understand the person. So I was just trying to just be another outlet, for an athlete, active athlete, to be different, have his own YouTube, have his own podcast, be on social media a lot, so it's definitely nothing that I changed my day job for, but it's fun.
What do you think that Melvin Ingram can do here that he couldn't do in Kansas City?
Well, hopefully he can make a basketball shot, because in Kansas City we had a basketball in the locker room. He could not hit a shot.
Talking about Melvin Ingram.
So hopefully he can do that. But I think Melvin, he brings that veteran, leadership, brings a certain mentality, to that side of the ball.
Tyreek is thick.
Aggressive, old school, thick body thumper. So I think, for him to come to Miami, he's a great addition to already a great defense. So.
Sorry, if you and Jaylen were cars, what kind of cars would you guys be on the football field?
I'm gonna tell you like this: if we were cars, I'm gonna give you the joking answer first. If we was cars and we were racing, you would compare him to like a 2003 Honda Civic, and then I'd be like a Maserati or something. You know what I'm saying? But realistically, like if me and him on the same side, same football field, teammates side by side, it'd be like a Lambo and a Ferrari.
Have you ever had anybody with speed close to your line up with you?
I mean, obviously, man, I played with like a lot of fast guys. I played with a fast guy last year, Miko Harmon, who could also play football. So a lot of people don't give him credit for him just being able to come in as a young guy and be able to play in that style of an offense. So he was another fast guy.
Not as good as Jaylen, though.
What have you made of, all the reactions to your positive feedback from your team, or as you think this is one of your guys?
Say that again?
What have you made of the national reaction to you basically just being positive about your teammates?
I just feel like people, man, they just take it and they just run with it, dog. You know how people are, dog. They really don't read the headlines. Obviously, like I said what I said to it was more accurate. But 1-5, he always gonna be 1-5. Speaking in Mahomes, he's great. He's arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks I feel like, I play with or in this league right now. So, I mean, national attention, I take it. So that's good range for me and my podcast. We'll take it all day.
You always work this hard in practice?
Always. I've always been like this. When I first arrived at Kansas City, dog, I got drafted 5th round draft pick. I feel like I could have went higher, but my mom always told me control what you can control, and that's your energy and that's your effort. So every day I step out here on this field, it don't matter
what
I
a leader
did in the past, Super Bowl rings, whatever the case, how many contracts I signed, all it go out the window, man. Because when I line up on this football field, I'm out here trying to do the same thing over and over again, man. Compete and have fun and make my teammates better. That's my mindset all day.
Have you always had this level of confidence, or later in your life did you kind of start confident?
I've always been like this, even when I was a kid too, though. You know, so I used to talk back to my dad when I was a kid. So even when playing one-on-one, like, you suck, like stuff like that. So I feel like I've always had that confidence.
Tyreek, on that note,
I need him mic'd up for one of these games,
less reps,
talking trash to a defender.
each one, and now you and each rep you're getting out there.
I think it's better. You know, I feel like when you come out here, you know, you got an understanding of how practice is going to be. It's going to be fast. Like you said, it's going to be deliberate. And, like, you're going to get the most, you know, out of it, you know.
It's all about quality
okay,
reps,
I
not
got 4
quantity
reps.
reps.
In this period, I got 4 reps in this period. Like, I know I got to go full speed every rep.
Yeah.
You know, so, I mean, I'm a sprinter. You know, all you guys know, sprinters get fast. I mean, tired fast because we got quick twitch muscles. You know, so for me being able to go in 4 reps, like, each period and do my thing, run full speed, and then come out and take a break, fast and deliberate is great, man.
Final question.
Tyreek, there's a lot of talk on what Patrick will look like without you, will look like without Patrick. Is there any added motivation now that you're away from the Chiefs to show that you're still that same guy?
Nah, man, I just feel like all I can do is just be me. You know, be me and then just help this team win games. You know, 1-5, he's still going to be great. TK is still going to be great. That whole team's still going to be great, you know. So I just feel like I said, all I can do is just control what I can control. That's my energy, that's my effort, and that's my intensity every time I step on this field, man.
Man, I love this guy's mindset. He literally just exudes winning mindset. I mean, control what you can control, but with what you control, give 120% on every single snap. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it, man. All right, guys. Finally, last piece here. If you haven't seen it, I'm bringing you guys part 3 of this article. It's called The Beautiful Mind of Chase Edmonds. You can see right here at the top. This is part 3, A Match Made in Heaven. I recommend going and reading the first 2 parts. This is by Tyler Dunn. Tyler Dunn is that individual who wrote that Lynn Bowden expose piece last year talking about what happened in Las Vegas and everything. So Dunn does good stuff. If you read the subheadline, becoming a father at 18, depressed in college, fighting and clawing his way to Miami, it all leads to 2022. He believes in Tua. He believes in his own leadership, and Edmonds knows what's coming next. This is what it looks like when a dream is realized. The kid who was in a puddle of tears several times over takes total control of his destiny. Behind door number 1, Tampa Bay. The opportunity to play with Tom Brady, the greatest ever, felt like a golden ticket he'd be crazy to turn down. Behind door number 2, Buffalo. He loved the idea of playing in a super football culture where community and team are one and the same and the air just smells like football. He's even seen all the wild tailgate videos in those Orchard Park mudlots. One of his former teammates, Jordan Phillips, signed with the Bills for a second time and was blunt. It's just different in Western New York. Yeah, it's the armpit of the world. And the Bills boast arguably the best player in the sport themselves in Josh Allen. I'm not going to lie, Edmonds said, I was probably going to go to Buffalo. The problem here, taxes. Factor in the abomination that is New York state taxes, and the money between what Buffalo and Miami was offering was not comparable. I feel like Buffalo should pay different taxes. It's crazy. Of course, it was not strictly about handing over hard-earned money to the government. If Edmonds was money hungry, he would have signed with a team like the Houston Texans. The first time free agent did not want to, as he says, chase the bag like others. I could have gone to Houston for the highest paid contract, he said, but guys get lost quick. And once you get lost in the league, it's hard to get back out. Money matters with his daughter, Avery, growing up so fast, but Edmonds knew it was the wisest to go to a situation where he'd be used the correct way. That's what would lead to both wins and a third contract, which, and as an NFL running back in this wretched economy, is almost unheard of. So what awaited behind glorious door number 3 was the best of all worlds. Miami it was. Edmonds inked a 2-year deal worth $12.1 million. Florida's palm trees, beaches, and zero state income tax have made the Dolphins a destination since 1966. But anybody assuming Edmonds is another sucker heading south to perish would be wildly mistaken. The man seated right here in the same boardroom, he put pen to paper on that contract, did his homework. He phoned others who played for a new head coach, Mike McDaniel. The theme, he's brilliant. He's a cerebral play designer who both X's and O's his personnel into an open crease and grasps the big picture of how one play can set up another and another and another, as if the game of football is a chess match more than a tug of war. Joining forces with former 49ers offensive coordinator was more intriguing to Edmonds than anything Buffalo or Tampa Bay had to offer. I like to think I'm one of the smartest football players in the entire league, Edmonds said, especially at the running back position. So whether it's knowing my assignments, knowing what the defense is trying to do to us, being able to pair with a coach who is intelligent in that same manner really stuck out to me. With the system of how they use running backs outside of the backfield, it was a match made in heaven. No team possesses this infantry of pure speed. Miami's offense is the fastest in the NFL, and it's not particularly close. Tyreek Hill has been peace signing DBs into the upside down his entire career. No one strikes more fear in a defense. Ask Sean McDermott. He's worth every penny of his 4-year, $120 million pact. Jaylen Waddle, a man who ran a 4.37 in high school, has superstar potential. And all he did as a rookie was eclipse 100 catches and 1,000 yards. After signing Edmonds, the Dolphins added Raheem Mostert. You know, the burner who surfs with sharks in the offseason and torches the Green Bay Packers for 220 yards and 4 touchdowns in an NFC Championship game. Mostert and Hill own the 2 fastest times ever recorded by Next Gen Stats, which started tracking the speed of an individual players 8 years ago. Mosert's blistering on-field time of 23.09 miles per hour narrowly edged out Hill's career best of 23.24. Tight end Mike Gesicki is a Yeti in his own right at 6'6", 247 pounds with a 41.5-inch vert, 4.5 speed, and an 82-inch wingspan. He'll undoubtedly benefit from the tutelage of John Embry, one of the position's true tight end whisperers. It's still hard to believe San Francisco let one of the position's greatest teachers of all time exit the building. The arms race didn't end there. The Dolphins signed Cedric Wilson, who had 602 yards and 6 scores last season in Dallas, and traded for Sony Michel. I believe they mean signed Sony Michel, who sparked a Patriots Super Bowl run in 2018, and drafted Eric Uzakama in the 4th round, and recently signed vet Mohamed Sanu. And let's not sleep on Lynn Bowden, who was profiled here, and that's the article I'm talking about they did last year. He'll return from injury. The offensive line, received last season, will only improve with the arrival of Teron Armstead, Connor Williams. Damn right Edmonds is licking his chops. He will serve as the brains in the middle of this math equation of an offense, zigging and zagging and dusting defenders. Mad scientists mixing potions together to make all this work looks and sounds nothing like an NFL head coaches of the last century. When the Dolphins camp opened this week, McDaniel posed for a selfie with local beat writers. He's a candid, calm, bespectacled scholar of a boss, devoid of ego at the podium, and that's welcomed 180 for a team historically run by offensively challenged coaches. McDaniel's scheme is extremely detail-oriented. Edmonds explains in how he can window dress a play. In other words, Miami will make plays look the same in the run game when they're not the same at all. Blocking schemes are tweaked ever so slightly. A guard, a tight end, a receiver, one microscopic change creates an entire new angle within the zone. It's all about keys, baby. That's all it's about. Keys, set up false keys. It really makes the defense be disciplined with what they do every single play, Edmonds explains. If they're not disciplined, one play can. You've seen it. San Fran, it's crazy. San Francisco's head coach, Kyle Shanahan, was on the sidelines with his father when that Terrell Davis-powered Denver Broncos revolutionized the run game, and over time has added his own wrinkles to create the perfect angles for whoever's at running back. A slew of 49ers backs have planted one foot and surged to the 2nd and 3rd levels the last few years. Take the 3rd and 7 run that keyed an upset win over the Green Bay Packers in the 2021 NFC divisional round. With 103 remaining, do-it-all Deebo Samuel was unleashed directly at cornerback Jair Alexander. Honestly, the play call was diabolical, as if Shanahan and McDaniel knew Alexander was fresh off missing 13 games with a shoulder injury and due for a whopping contract extension, as if they knew Alexander would want nothing to do with the rugged Samuel in the frigid cold. They were right. Samuel's 9-yard gain set up the game-winning field goal. In Miami, McDaniel has even richer toolbox at his disposal. Everything feeds off of each other, says Edmonds. We'll do a zoom motion and we'll run outside zone. We'll do that zoom motion with Tyreek, and they have to worry about the jet sweep. Then we might do a zoom motion instead of the outside zone. We do a zoom motion play action, and Tyreek is going to the flat. Those two plays are the same exact play. The only difference is that you handed the ball off and you didn't hand the ball off on the other one. So now everybody on defense has to be super disciplined in their gaps, super disciplined in their assignments, their techniques. One missed fit and Edmonds snaps his fingers. You've got an outside zone for 20 yards. One misfit and you've got Tyreek Hill in the flat for 20 yards. One misfit and you've got Tua Tagovailoa scrambling 10 yards for a first down. There's a lot of outcomes on the same play that look the same, but it's really not. Reading all this, your brain may be screaming, but Tua is inept. Indeed, third-year quarterback Tua Tagovailoa remains the mystery. It's a do-or-die season for the 2020 fifth overall pick. Edmonds doesn't sugarcoat the fact that Tagovailoa's opportunity is crazy with so many weapons around him. Perhaps no player in the league is facing more pressure to perform, but Edmonds makes a pretty compelling case that he'll deliver. First, he notes that McDaniel's scheme is built for Tagovailoa because it's based on the quarterback setting his feet and making deliberate throws with timing, i.e. to his strength. This offense also feeds off of receivers with yak, Edmonds continues, and we have two of the best yak receivers you could have for this offense. Obviously, he's talking about Waddle and Tyreek. Tua is going to do, and don't sleep on Cedric. Cedric can stack up that yak too. Tua is going to do a great job. He takes care of the football already. So as long as we come in and we help him out, and we do what we're supposed to do, we get open and we hold on to the football, we catch the football, everything will work out. Say what you will about Alabama's plethora of five-star talent, he adds. That offense was still timing based with slants and crossers and depots. 1, 2, 3, throw. That's what Edmonds tells everyone to expect in Miami. And like practically everyone else, he assumed Tagovailoa had a weak arm before signing. Such was the narrative. When I came here, I was thinking, shit, how far is he going to throw it, Edmonds admits. That's how bad the media is. Once the running back started practicing with his new quarterback, any fears began to subside. He claims Tagovailoa's arm is plenty strong and states Tua was a Heisman finalist for a reason, and the number one quarterback out of high school for a reason, and the fifth overall pick for a reason. From what Edmonds was told by his new teammates, the deck was stacked against Tagovailoa his first 2 years more than anyone knew. The OC in the offense, the way it was ran, was terrible, Chase Edmonds says. It was absolutely terrible, okay? He just didn't have the right pieces around him. Now he has the right pieces. He'll be just fine. I mean, look at there. There you go. A player come in who was educated by the players who have been on this team. A guy who, if you read all three parts of it, especially the second part where you see his time in Arizona, you'll realize why he said early in this article he thinks he's so smart. He's a very smart individual. So if anyone's going to grasp or pick up what everyone's trying to explain the offense was last year, it's him. So when he sits there and says it's absolutely terrible, listen. Much like Tyreek Hill does anytime there's a microphone present, Edmonds pumps Tua love into the atmosphere. All part of that manifesting positivity, right? Yet he also knows how this can be perceived by skeptics and promises he's not BSing anyone here. It's going to be just fine, says Edmonds, and I don't like cashing checks for people. Perhaps Edmonds speaks so confidently about his quarterback because he'll know he'll have a say in the final product. Edmonds can be an asset to Tua in more ways than meet the naked eye. He was able to decode blitzes for Kyler Murray in Zona and will likely do the same here. Remember, we saw Gaskin and Achman and guys in the backfield were having a real problem with that, right? He's capable of flawlessly and rapidly deciphering the back end of a defensive coverage and how it all ties into the overall blitz package. Coverage rotations don't throw him off. Camouflage zone blitzes don't either. Edmonds possesses the sort of intel most running backs do not even consider, which helps him nestle into the sweet spot of the coverage. Former Fordham quarterback Kevin Anderson is correct to label his friend the best pass pro back in the NFL, too. The film backs him up because Edmonds so quickly cracks the code. He can meet a blitzing 250-pound linebacker right at the line of scrimmage. Not 4 years ago, not when it's too late for a 202-pounder, because he's smart enough to beat any blitzer to the spot. Edmonds talks to everyone, Anderson adds, like a quarterback. If there's something he needs to learn, he memorizes it. Physically talented running backs get chewed up and spit out all the time, but Edmonds is built to last. Because of his brain, Anderson calls him one of the smartest human beings, period, that he knows. No wonder he chuckles when the topic of McDaniel's high-tech offense is brought up. The dizzying array of motion and misdirection and jet sweeps and end-arounds that'll get linebackers flowing into no man's land, that's Edmonds' language. He's perfect for that offense, Anderson says, because there's so much going on and he understands all of it. None of this is a coincidence, too. Climb up this family tree and you'll find people who've gone to college for 4 generations, all the way back to Chase's great-grandmother, which his mother notes is hard to find in the African-American community, even in 2022. Allison Edmonds also chuckles. She doesn't want to sound vain, but admits her IQ is quite high. She's a speech pathologist with a master's degree. You don't sound vain. I just by that, your IQ's high. What did Chase inherit from her? Oh, she laughs. I'll say right up there next to the genius level. The difference with Chase is his blend of book smarts and street smarts. That's striking in our conversations. It's clear he's always trying to unlock new corners of his mind in academia. Take what he learned about the existence of God in that philosophy class from part 2. Edmonds applies the same logic to dragons. Yes, dragons. He's certain they existed many years ago, fossils or not. Because as he said, nobody just wakes up one day and says, I'm going to make up a mythical creature called a dragon. For the idea of a dragon to last thousands of years, he believes dragons absolutely had to exist at one point. Nobody just made that shit up, Edmonds adds. It's hard to imagine something flying and breathing fire unless you've seen it first. The street smarts, that's what will make Edmonds a very rich man beyond football. While assimilating to McDaniel's offense the last 4 months, Edmonds simultaneously laid the groundwork for an app that'll forever change the entertainment industry. Seriously. The idea was first planted at the Cardinals' losing streak dragged into 2021. One day, Edmonds was bullshitting with wide receiver Christian Kirk. Bro, he said, I'm trying to get rich. Kirk laughed and told Edmonds that they're already rich. Nah, Edmonds said, I'm trying to get rich. The two of them started thinking about nightlife and how everyone would love to see what a club looks like inside before waiting in the line outside. Perhaps security cameras? No, that wouldn't work. One conversation led to another and another. Edmonds started jotting notes down. Light bulbs went off nonstop, and eventually he came up with the idea for Scene. Let the man explain the nightlife app himself. At Fordham, you go from the Bronx to the Upper West Side. It's like a 30-minute ride. So if it's 10:30 at night and they say, Chase, we're at the club, it's a good vibe, come up here, I have to take a 30-minute Uber ride just to get there. By the time I get there, let's say you don't know the promoter, you're not doing bottle service, you're just a regular guy for general admittance. I wait 30 minutes in line, and by that time it's 12 o'clock, 12:30. By the time I get in the club and get inside, it's not the vibe I want anymore. Whether it's the music, the crowd, the drinks, the service, whatever it is, I'm not feeling it. Now, I just wasted half the night trying to get a spot that I thought was going to be a good vibe for me. So I'm making an app that'll establish a tire feed system. You'll take this feed system and outsource data from other sources, OpenTable, Yelp, your phone, Google IPs. You put into this feed system that allows people to visually see what bars, venues, lounges, clubs look like through other users before they make the decision to go. This is sort of like the Waze applied to nightlife. Yelp and Apple Maps may supply a surface level description of a club, but he expects this to enhance your weekend unlike anything before. Edmonds speaks like he runs with football, juking from one point to the next. He's a huge fan of human behavior, and whenever Edmonds goes to a bar or a club himself, he sees everyone with their phone out. Patrons inside of an establishment. He knows, feels the intrinsic need to share their experience. He'll lean onto that. Once Scene blows up, everyone going to a club in a new city, Miami, Nashville, Houston, will possess a full scouting report on what it's like inside. The male-female ratio, the music, the demographics. He's got plans to digitally advertise a business to monetize this app too. If a club is 45% full on a Friday night at 11 p.m., he'll shoot a flash alert out to scene users offering a free drink to those who get to the club, or a free cover. Or, hey, here's a cool idea. Let's say a cover fee is $20. Edmund knows for a fact, via all of his studies on human psychology, that folks buried in the back of that snaking around the block would be willing to pay $50. FOMO, the fear of missing out, sparks rash decisions in us all. Adds Edmonds, the fear of, oh my God, what's inside? Who's performing inside? What does it look like? No, this wasn't a reason to go sign with the Dolphins, but it doesn't hurt to live in Miami. Edmonds is not worried about gaining a high volume of users because, as he points out, TikTok's algorithm redefined the social media game. Their app outsources your post for you to people they believe will interact with that post. That's the user's numbers of followers makes them irrelevant. No, Kirk isn't working with his ex-teammate on the app and most certainly does not need the money. CK got that 84, jokes Edmonds, referencing Kirk's $84 million deal with the Jaguars. Seeing a double entendre to the idea seen and to be seen is almost set to launch. It's going to work. There's nothing like it. It's more hip than Yelp. Their market is like 35 and older because older people like to write. They like to type and do informative responses. This is more of a hip way for people doing it. It's quick and easy. He's constantly educating himself. Edmonds recently read Reginald Lewis's classic, Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun? And was inspired by a story of a kid who went from throwing newspapers onto the lawns in West Baltimore to becoming the first Black American to build $1 billion company. He's always YouTubing videos to learn about different tech elements that'll make clear to all business associates on Zoom calls that he knows the ins and outs of building an app. The hard work is done. Edmonds has already been in talks with clubs in Fort Lauderdale. All he needs to do is chat with occasional venture capitalists on the phone. Now it's time to play football. Training camp has begun, and Edmonds will be a busy man. What happens next is crystal clear to Anderson. Edmonds will take a league by storm in 22, sign a gazillion-dollar extension, purchase a South Florida mansion, and let him move right into the guest house as a roommate forever. Maybe they'll even rekindle that FIFA rivalry. That friend who bashed the drawer after one L cannot help but sneak a quick dig in. Okay, so Edmonds may score a bunch of touchdowns this season. Nobody should expect much of a show in the end zone. The 26-year-old set to change the nightlife in America cannot dance at all. He has no rhythm, Anderson says. He's stiff, he's a meatball, he's a rock of muscle. Once more, Edmonds takes a moment to zoom out. Sister finally found her blessing a month and a half ago. Morgan got married. She's not lonely anymore. He's never been happier himself. His daughter remains his world. Right now, Avery is all about gymnastics, so he's passing on the same lessons his dad gave him back in Pop Warner. Edmonds bought her all the gymnastic equipment possible, explaining that if she wants to be great, she'll need to work at it. Over FaceTime, Avery practices routines for her dad, too. Flips, splits, spins, the whole nine. He beams with pride, even though Chase is 5'9". Avery is tall for her age. One doctor said she's in the 96th percentile. When this girl dad does get to hang with Avery in person, they head to the zoo. She loves the zoo, but football, not so much. She goes, Daddy, it's too loud, Edmund says in a high pitch. To start training camp, Avery's in town with Dad for 10 days. He's been hanging out with her every day when he gets off work at 6. Building the relationship, he adds, means everything to me. That's why it still pains Edmonds that he wasn't able to be two places at once back when he was at Fordham, back when he was the 18-year-old in shock. He needed to slay the odds for her, and he did. He made it. And holy, it feels like history is repeating itself this summer. The start of the next chapter as a Miami Dolphin feels like a stepping stone onto that Fordham campus all over again. But Edmonds found out he was going to be a teenage parent, and the pressure was at the highest, and his world would have come tumbling down. He nearly rushed for more yards than anybody in college football history. So that's exactly how he's attacking 2022. After 3 seasons of knowing what to expect in Arizona, he feels uncomfortable in all the best ways. New teammates, new coaches, new offensive system. Even this new weather is welcomed. Bring on that suffocating humidity. He likes the fact that the Dolphins practice and play games outside instead of a comfortable ass dome. I'm out of my comfort zone, he says, and it reminds me of my freshman year. He'll assert himself as the alpha again. He'll earn that C. He'll do everything in his power to will this organization back to the playoffs and win for the first time since 2000. Because frankly, that's how life works for Chase Edmonds. He sets his mind on a goal and leaves zero room for doubt. Man, I really recommend y'all go check out that article. It is a fantastic, fantastic article. Go check it out. Man, it's a beautiful thing. It's going to be a beautiful thing this year with Chase Edmonds. Hopefully, just put those numbers on the board, boy. Just put those numbers on the board. All right, guys, that's it for me today. I'm going to be back on Saturday. There is no training camp tomorrow. They'll be back on Saturday, so you can expect me on Saturday. I'm either going to be going I'm either going to be on early in the evening or later on in the night. It all depends. Me and the wife are going out and celebrating our 7-year wedding anniversary. I just bought her an Apple Watch, so she's upstairs setting that thing up, loving life. So I'll be live Saturday. Expect me, and we'll go over everything, guys. I appreciate all of you for coming out, man. Still 460 of you in that room. Shout out to EM Baller. He said Cards took out the study clause. Yeah, I got that update while I was live here. That's I think they did it because they were embarrassed, to be honest with you. I mean, I think it was a bad look that got out. Fake Spike 94 donates $4.99. Said my wife said to my son, "It's time for bed." He looks at me and says, "No, Daddy, it's Phinside time." He's right. Check your pulse. Yes, sir. Check your pulse, Fake Spike. Check your son's pulse while he's at it too. Check your son's pulse while he's at it too, man. Appreciate you guys for just watching, man, and supporting. Guys, smash that like button. Help me out with my friend Algorithm. Helps us out. Let's get it seen by more Dolphin fans. Let's get this platform to 10,000, man. Let's get it there. Appreciate all of you guys for rolling through. You guys continue to show out strong during training camp. Love each and every one of you. I see all the congratulations. Thank you very much for the congratulations on our wedding anniversary. Man, I'll tell you this much. I will tell you this much. I've been with my wife for 10 years now, and this will be our 7th year married. And man, life moves in a flash. In the blink of an eye, what did Ferris Bueller say? Right? You got to stop and look around and take it all in once in a while, because life moves faster than you know it. Rhino donated $20, and he says, "Buy a drink for you and your wife. Fins up." Appreciate you, Rhino. We definitely will, man. Good to see you back here for 2 straight shows, man. Appreciate you coming out, man. Let's drop that link. Any of you guys want to come back, chop it up for a bit after this show? Links in the comments. Knock yourself out. Guys, here's the deal. I am going to be back on Saturday, like I said. I believe for all of you going, practice is at 10:30 in the morning. Hey, you guys feel free to email me, FinsideTheNFL@gmail. Feel free to DM me on Twitter. Do whatever you got to do. If you go to practice and there's anything you see or anything you want me to know about, drop it. Let it know, man. You know what I'm saying? Let me know. So, shout out to Fake 90 Sport, Fake Spike 94. 2 drinks. He donates $20 as well. Appreciate that, homie. Appreciate that. Ball game coming through. He said, "Congrats. It's hella real when you hit 30 as well." Oh, it's hella real. Me, Ball Game, and Richmond Webb, our podcast will be coming back next week. We will be recording. We were going to record yesterday, but I've got something in the works behind the scenes for the podcast that I'm giving another week to see if I can get it completed by. So, yeah, so expect the Finish line to be back, and also me and Neil Driscoll, Fin Too Deep, will be returning next week. So not only will you have me on YouTube, you will have me on Spotify, iTunes, and every other audio outlet where podcasts are available. All right, until next time, you already know what time it is. fins up all day, every day. I will see all y'all on Saturday. Have a blessed night. Have a blessed Friday. And hey, fins up all day, every day, even beyond the grave in which we'll lay. Let's